welcome back to the Big Mountain College Football Podcast, where we bring you a fresh take on college football betting focused on the Big Ten and the Mountain West.
And I'm JY. This is my good friend Steve, and it is time for week one. And we're not going to waste any time. We're going to get right to the picks. I know Steve has a pick that's not in conference of Big Ten or Mountain West, but I know he wants to talk about it. So let's get right to it, Steve. What do you got?
Yeah, this is our special game of the week here. Not only is it going to be a pick, JY, I'm going to make it our first Big Mountain ice cold lock.
Oh, coming out hot.
LSU minus 2.5 over Florida State.
Okay.
The game is at Florida State. Last year, Florida State went in and upset LSU, first game of the season for LSU, and I think LSU is going to return the favor this year. Minus 2.5. I think LSU is one of the best teams in the SEC, may even win the SEC this year. So I'm going to go ahead and lock that. LSU minus 2.5 over Florida State.
And LSU, as the season went on last year, got better and better and better. I mean, by the end of the season, they were a fantastic team. And I'm guessing they're going to ride right into it this year with that same mindset and that same team. So I think that's a great pick.
Yeah. And last year was Brian Kelly's first year. He's a great coach. Was not a big fan of his at Notre Dame, but nobody can argue that he's a great coach. He's brought in great players into LSU already. They had a couple stumbling blocks last year, Florida State being one of them, but they're going to get their revenge, and they're going to go ahead and cover minus 2.5 over Florida State.
I like the pick. So we're going to stick with Steve. He's going to come in hot, and he's going to keep right on going. We're now going to get to the Big Ten. So, Steve, why don't you take us through? I know you have a pick for all the Big Ten games. We start on Thursday. They really spread it out here in week one. Yeah. So we want to make sure we get you guys the picks. We're going to do the whole week one right now. And Steve has a call on that Thursday night game. And we're going to go through the Big Ten. So have at it, Steve.
Yeah, so Thursday night we're going to get started. Nebraska's at Minnesota. I'm going to go ahead. I'm not big on Minnesota this year on the Gophers as far as the season. But just starting out the first game, Matt Rule, first-year head coach. Every time he's gone into a program, he tears down that program down its foundation and rebuilds. So his first year is usually a bit of a down year. So this is the first game of his first year on the road at Mini at night. So I'm going to go ahead and take Minnesota at home minus 7.5 over Nebraska. All right, so next game, Central Michigan is at Michigan State. I'm going to go ahead and take Central Michigan actually plus 14.5. So Central Michigan plus the points, plus 14.5 at Michigan State. As you know, I'm not huge on Michigan State this year. I do think Michigan State wins, but I don't see their offense doing much. I see this as a low-scoring game, and I think Central Michigan stays within that 14.5.
Wow. All right. A little surprised with that, honestly, but yeah, I'd actually like to see that. So
you might even be more surprised at the next game.
All right, what do you got?
So the next game is ECU, Eastern Carolina at Michigan. So Jim Harbaugh suspended for that game. I think he has his dad being like the assistant head coach.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Kind of stepping in to help. His dad hasn't coached in 17 years or something like that.
Okay.
And the thing is, Michigan is still a great team. We talked about this earlier. That first half of their schedule is soft as warm butter.
Right.
So they're going to win this game, but I think ECU keeps it within that 35.5 margin. So I'm taking ECU plus 35.5. I think this is also going to be a low-scoring game. I don't see Michigan. I see Michigan running the ball, getting the lead, playing good defense, run the ball some more, and get out of there with a win.
And there's some very high spreads on the table. You'll have that in the first few weeks when you have interconference play. You have some of the Power Five versus the Group of Five teams, and you're going to get that. It's always interesting when you have those big spreads how some of these games play out, because regardless of how good a Michigan is or any of these top teams, some of those spreads can be mighty hard to get past. So that'll be an interesting one. I like your thoughts on it. So let's keep moving. What you got next?
Okay, so this may be another surprise for you. So our next game is Fresno State at Purdue.
Okay.
If you remember, I'm not huge on Purdue this year. I think they're the returning Big Ten West champions. However, I think they take a few steps back this year with their new coach. Mm-hmm. They're rebuilding as well. Fresno State, I actually have them going on the road. The line is Fresno State plus 4.5, and I'm going to go ahead and take them plus the points on the road at Purdue. They might even just upset them, straight up win, but I'm going to take Fresno State plus the points, so plus 4.5 at Purdue.
No Hainer, but still that you think they got the goods.
Yeah, and for me, it's more about Purdue. They're
Okay.
still getting things together. They're still getting their act together, trying to figure things out. And I think that it's a really good opportunity for Fresno State to come in there and either pull that upset or at least stay within the margin.
Yeah, and I think now's a good time to maybe tell first-time viewers, if you're watching us for the first time here in the Big Mountain, we have done some preview episodes of both the Big Ten, split them up into 2 episodes of the East and the West, and we did the Mountain West also. So here's Steve saying some things about prior episodes and some of the thoughts that he had. If you want to go back and listen to some of those episodes, now would be a great time to do it. You can go to our channel and get some of the feel for where Steve thinks some of these teams are at as well. So with that, I think you're only about halfway. Let's keep rolling down the Big Ten here.
Okay. So Iowa, the next game is Iowa at home -25 over Utah State. Excuse me.
Yep.
I'm going to go ahead and actually pick Iowa to cover -25. It seems like a lot of points. So what's funny is with that line is Iowa's coach, his son is the offensive coordinator there, and they had put something in his contract this year where they basically have to average 25 points a game.
Oh my goodness.
For him to continue. Yes.
Okay.
So I thought it was kind of ironic, and I think they go ahead and do that. They went out in the transfer portal and got a quarterback, Cade McNamara out of Michigan, who he was a college football playoff quarterback a couple years ago. He did lose the job there, but he's a good, solid quarterback, pro-style quarterback. And that's really what Iowa's been lacking the last couple of years.
Yes.
They're not an aggressive offense. They're a run the ball, pass, and then maybe throw to the tight end every now and then. But I think he's going to be a great quarterback for that system. And I think Iowa's going to want to go and make a statement game one to show their faith and their trust that offense in their coach, and they're going to cover that -25 over Utah State, which I don't know about you, I don't see Utah State as a real good team this year.
Well, it's interesting because I remember last year we would take unders on Iowa quite often, and it was pretty hot for a while. But towards the end of the season, that wasn't the case anymore. Iowa was scoring more points, and so yeah, that's an interesting take. I will say with Utah State, in my preview, I had them in the bottom half of the Mountain West. I think I had them at 5 and 7 overall, and I think they're going to struggle. Actually, the 5 may be a little high for them, quite frankly. So yeah, I'm not too surprised, by the -25. Although when I hear -25 in Iowa,
Yes.
I shake my head a little bit, but I totally understand what you're saying. So what we got after that?
Okay, so the next one, pretty easy. Ohio State. I'm going to go ahead and take Ohio State -29.5 at Indiana. I know that's a huge spread, like you talked about. I think Indiana is going to struggle this year. Ohio State, they just named their starting quarterback, Kyle McCord. He played high school. He's actually Pennsylvania high school state champion at St. Joe's Prep. He's very talented quarterback. People expected him to grab a hold of that starting quarterback spot a little sooner than he did. He was just named the starter, so maybe it sounds like he maybe struggled throughout the fall camp a little bit. However, he's got tons and tons of weapons, multiple 5-star receivers. They got a good defense. They just have so many weapons, and I expect Ohio State to go out there and really make a statement that first week at Indiana, and they're going to cover Ohio State -29.5 at Indiana.
All right, very good.
Okay, next game, Wisconsin is at home. 27.5 point favorites over Buffalo. I'm taking Wisconsin to go ahead and cover -27.5 over Buffalo. Buffalo, they're a solid MAC team. Wisconsin first year head coach. He's going to want to go ahead, and they have a new offensive coordinator. So we talked about this on the preview show. Wisconsin's been known for running the ball, playing good defense.
Right.
They brought in a new offensive coordinator who runs sort of an air raid style. He does still run the ball. He basically uses the pass to set up the run and vice versa. Very balanced attack, but it is an attacking style offense. I think they're going to want to go out and make a statement week one. Wisconsin's a very good team, and I have them covering that 27.5 over Buffalo.
Okay. Yeah, I remember you were fairly high on Wisconsin on the West preview. Yeah. So, okay, very good. What else we got?
So Sunday at noon, we got two teams that stink. Okay, so Rutgers.
Great time to put them, Sunday at noon.
Right, exactly. So Yeah, so Northwestern, we talked about them. Their coach got fired due to some things, and they're just in shambles as a program basically right now. They're traveling to Rutgers, who's also just not a very good team.
Yeah.
But Rutgers at home, they are a 6.5 point favorite, and I'm going to go ahead and take Rutgers minus 6.5. The battle of the two not so great teams, and they're going to go ahead and win that to start off the season.
It's a week 1 wing dinger.
Yes, yeah, super excited.
Yeah.
About that game.
And I think you got one more.
Yeah,
maybe the most important one for you, anyway.
Yeah, well, yeah, super big game on Saturday night in Happy Valley. Penn State's going to be hosting West Virginia. Penn State is a 20.5 point favorite over West Virginia. You know, West Virginia, they've been struggling the last couple of years. Their coach, Don Brown, is on the hot seat probably more than any other coach in college football. I expect those struggles to continue.
Mm-hmm.
And I have as a Big Mountain ice cold lock, I have Penn State minus 20.5 over West Virginia.
Okay.
So go ahead and lock that in. I really have big expectations for Penn State for the year. And for this game, I see them coming out, establishing the run game right away. West Virginia having to, counter that and put guys up to stop that run game. And with their 5-star quarterback coming in, Drew Aller, and he's got a ton of weapons, whether they're receivers, running backs, and tight ends. One of the best tight end rooms in the country. And I just see Penn State under the lights at home, big showcase on NBC. First time that NBC has ever televised a game in Happy Valley at Beaver Stadium ever in their history, which is kind of hard to believe.
That is hard to believe.
And I see Penn State going out, making a statement, covering that 20.5, and that's my lock.
Yeah. Well, I think it'll be rocking up there. So,
yeah.
And I wish you the best.
Yeah. It should be fun.
So that does it. That's 9 different picks. He actually had 2, if you go back to the out-of-conference one there, 2 Big Mountain ice-cold locks for all you guys. And there were a few teams that obviously Steve didn't mention. They don't have an available line right now. You'll hear that with me as well with the Mountain West. You know, certainly in these early weeks, there's just not lines on some of these games. So, you know, we won't be talking about games that we can't bet on. That's what this is all about, is putting some picks out there for bets. So with that, Steve, you made 9 Big Ten picks. Why don't we do a quick summary for our viewers here, and why don't you go back over what those picks are again?
Okay, so Michigan at home minus 7.5 over Nebraska. Central Michigan covering 14.5 at Michigan State. ECU plus 35.5 at Michigan. Fresno State plus 4.5 at Purdue. Iowa minus 25 over Utah State. Ohio State minus 29.5 at Indiana. Wisconsin minus 27.5 at home over Buffalo. And Rutgers minus 6.5 at home over Northwestern. And then we have our Big Mountain ice cold lock, Penn State at home to cover 20.5 over West Virginia.
Fantastic. Well done, sir.
All right.
Sounds like a great first week of the Big Ten there.
I think so. I'm looking forward to it. And so how about you? You want to take us through your Mountain West picks?
Let's go through the Mountain West picks. So Friday, things get kicked off in the Mountain West. We've got Stanford at Hawaii.
Ooh.
So for those that saw our week 0 picks, I actually bet against Hawaii.
Yes.
The offense looked really good against Vanderbilt.
Much improved.
So I'm actually going to take the points with Hawaii in Hawaii, mainly for 2 main reasons. Number one, I was very impressed with Hawaii's offense here this past week in Vandy. And then also Stanford's defense just got robbed of almost everybody. So that's a recipe that I think Hawaii can do well with. You know, you always have, as I mentioned in one of the previous episodes, the wild card of people traveling to Hawaii. Now it's Stanford to Hawaii. It's not East Coast teams or anything like that.
Right.
But it's still something that teams can struggle with. I know it's out of the gate, but just really impressed with Hawaii last week. And so I'm going to see if they're going to ride a rainbow here and into maybe a win. So I'm taking Hawaii at plus 3.5 on Friday night.
So one interesting note on that, I was looking at lines about a week ago, and you could have gotten Hawaii plus, I think, 8.5.
Yeah, right.
Points.
A lot of people seem to like them in their first week.
Yeah, so the lines moved a lot. So.
Moved a lot, and I'm still happy to take the points with Hawaii, especially over a field goal there. very comfortable with that.
Very cool.
The next one, and you picked this, and I'm going to pick it. Fresno at Purdue. So I'm also going to take Fresno at, they're getting points at the 4.5. I'm going to take that pick as well. So, there's probably not very many weeks that Steve and I are going to be picking the same team, especially when it comes to a Mountain West team and a Big Ten team.
Yeah.
But we are both picking the same game, and we're picking the same team to win it. So we're taking points with Fresno State. I like that pick just like you like that pick. I don't know if there's much more that needs to be said after your summary. So my next one is Boise State at Washington. And yes, I am the Mountain West guy, and I've thought long and hard about this pick because I think Boise's going to have a really good year this year. But that Washington offense is something I don't know if Boise can handle.
Penix at quarterback, former Indiana quarterback.
Yes.
Michael Penix, yep.
So I'm actually taking Washington at minus 14.5. I would love it at 13.5, like everybody probably would.
Yeah.
That 2 touchdown thing's always kind of that hard line. But I'm still going to take him at minus 14.5. I wish Boise the best. I hope they have a good showing. I feel okay, honestly, if Boise makes me lose a bet here because I am high on Boise State. But I just don't know. That Washington offense really, really concerns me. So I'm taking Washington at minus 14.5.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
The next game, we've been talking about some large spreads. And here's two. I got 2 picks coming up that are ridiculously large spreads. Okay. So the first one is the Nevada at USC.
Yeah.
Spread is 38.5 right now. And I looked today. All of the spreads that we're giving you right now are active as of Tuesday. So if things are going to change, that's just the markets, moving on us. So we apologize if any of these spreads are slightly off. But this is active as of Tuesday. So minus 38.5. We saw the game and we talked about the game, San Jose State versus USC. And, that spread was deflated somewhat. Now you say it's 24 points, but deflated somewhat because of San Jose State's offense. And I have been touting San Jose State's offense since we started this podcast.
Absolutely.
Nevada is not San Jose State's offense.
No.
And USC will score their points, if not more than what they scored, in my opinion, against San Jose State. So because Nevada's team is not, or their offense is not a San Jose State offense, I'm taking USC at minus 38.5. I think it's in the 40s. Like Nevada, if they can score 2 touchdowns, good for them. But I that's a huge spread, but I think USC is just way too much for Nevada to handle. So I got USC on that one.
I think it's a great pick. Nevada's just, they're not a good team.
They're struggling. They're trying to build back up. They're just not there. It's a little bit of an unfair matchup, if you want to call it that, but that's what you get in these early weeks sometimes.
And USC completely loaded on offense.
Yep.
They're, all this week they're going to be hearing about how they didn't beat San Jose State by enough points,
right,
and how they're not actual contenders, they're pretenders, and they're going to want to go out and make a statement. So.
And maybe especially the defense giving up 28 points to a San Jose State, which I still think is a bunk thing. But they're going to still have something to prove, in my opinion. I mean, you would think they wouldn't. They didn't want to give up 4 touchdowns to San Jose State.
Absolutely not. So, I love the pick.
Yeah, so next up, another big old spread. We got another 38.5 as of today, and this is the New Mexico team versus Texas A&M.
Yeah.
I don't know if New Mexico is going to even score. They might get a field goal. Yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to be rude, but it's going to be a struggle. And I'm taking Texas A&M at minus 38.5. So I'm hoping some of these teams go airball and go crazy on the offense, which I think they will. And this is a play both on Texas A&M just outmatching a New Mexico, and New Mexico just not going to be able to score much at all. Yeah. So if Texas A&M can score in the 40s, they're going to beat the spread.
Well, here's the thing: Texas A&M absolutely loaded on defense with 5-star talent. Their offense was just kind of okay last year, but honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see Texas A&M's defense score a touchdown or more, which would help them.
Texas A&M might score more than New Mexico. Texas A&M's defense may score more than New Mexico.
Totally agree.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's some sort of market for that, but maybe I'll look at that, and maybe that can be a game day pick if I can have the Texas A&M defense outscoring the New Mexico's offense.
I think Iowa did it maybe twice last year.
Yeah.
So yeah.
If it's there, I'll bring it on a game day pick because that's something I would have. Anyway, I got two more here for you. So the next one, I'm actually not going to take a spread pick. This is the Colorado State-Washington State game. I'm really anxious for this game to see how Colorado State does.
Yeah.
I think they could be a surprise to the good this year, or surprise to the positive this year. I was maybe a little negative on them in the preview video. So I'm really anxious to see this Colorado State team. But I'm going to take the under on this game.
Okay.
The under 54.5
Okay.
on the Colorado State-Washington State game. I believe the spread was 12, if I remember correctly. I think that's probably pretty close. You know, 2 touchdowns-ish. But I do like the under a lot in this game. So under 54.5 on that game.
Cool.
And then the last game I'm going to call is the Wyoming Cowboys are getting Texas Tech at home.
Okay.
You know, a lot of people say it's hard to play in Wyoming, the altitude, you know, that has something to do with it. They do have a very strong defense. I am anxious to see this game. I do want to see what Wyoming's going to do in this game, but I don't think they cover the spread, unfortunately. I would love for them to do it. You know, I guess my bet against Boise and my bet against Wyoming are to win money, but if they can get under that spread, I'll be okay, because I'd like to see both teams do well. So anyway, I'm going to take the -14 with Texas Tech. A bet against my Cowboys. I just don't see it. I don't think they can get there. I think Texas Tech's gonna beat them by, it could be upwards of 20.
So you're going with your head instead of your heart.
I'm going with my head. I'm going with the big mountain. I'm not going with the homer pick.
Okay.
Thank you for the clarity.
All right. So is that all your Mountain West picks for this week, Jay?
That is all that I have. I know there's a few teams I didn't mention. Again, some of them are because there's no line available. I did not mention San Jose State, who plays later in the weekend. Watch out for a game day pick on them. I'm keeping my eye on that game. I will likely do another game day pick. I did one for them last week, and it hit. I'm likely going to do another one this week, so make sure you're subscribed so that you can get our updates. That'll probably drop on game day. So yeah, I got my eye on that. I got my eye on one other game, so I got maybe 2 or 3 game day picks that might be coming forth here in the next couple days.
Very cool. So like JY said, make sure hit that subscribe if you want to see those game day picks. You want to get the notifications, and do me a favor, leave some comments. I want to hear what you guys have to say about our picks. If you think my ice cold locks are crazy, if you think I'm a Penn State homer, whatever, I want to hear those comments. So go ahead and leave us some comments. And hit that subscribe button, like JY said. So I think that's it for me. JY, you want to bring us home?
Yeah, well, let's go over a summary real quick.
Okay.
Show our viewers what we got here with the Mountain West, and then I'll take things out for us. So I had Hawaii at plus 3.5 on that Friday game. I've got Fresno State at plus 4.5. I've got Washington at minus 14.5. I've got USC at a whopping minus 38.5. And Texas A&M at a minus 38.5. I'm going to get the under 54.5 on the Colorado State-Washington State game. And then the last one, going against my Wyoming Cowboys, going to take Texas Tech at a minus 14.
Okay.
So with that, we thank you for watching this Week 1 pick episode. Hopefully you got some insights from us and where we're headed with this. We will do a rapid reaction video to talk about how things turned up. Again, as Steve said, comments are great. We'd love to reply to them and even bring them up in a future video. And with that, we'll see you next time on the Big Mountain.